of Hebrews tells us that write the vision down, even though it tarries, it will surely come to pass. So write it down, hold God accountable. So as we enter this year, we said we are entering with thanksgiving, talking about the goodness of God.
Give me what I want, you give me what I need.
Isaiah 43 verse 18 to 20 that has told us, forget those former things. See, behold, I will do a new thing. I am doing it. Can't you say it? That is what the Lord is telling you.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come.
The holiday season is here again. It's family time. Oh yes, it's a season to be jolly. And so, grab a seat, relax as your favorite Christmas hosts line up to indulge you this year.
It's about to go down.
There's a lot of food and drinks to go around.
It's delicious.
Great music for the soul. It's unbeatable. It's joyous. It's Christmas on KBC Channel 1.
In just 3 hours, we ring in the year 2026. And while some parts across the globe have already crossed over, as a country, we continue counting down as we reflect on the year that was, looking ahead with hope and expectation. Tonight, we bring you stories of how the celebrations went down across those countries that have already crossed over. But, as is tradition, you know the drill, the highlights. Countdown. Kenyans prepare to usher in 2026 in style. Global celebrations of the new year. Samoa, New Zealand, and Australia welcome 2026. Effects of climate change. The iconic Lake Kamnarok dries up, ending a decades-old tradition by St. Patrick's Boys High School. In business, the Central Bank of Kenya licenses 42 additional digital credit providers. Many thanks for choosing KBC Channel 1 to inform you this Wednesday night. This is Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange, and Byron Abule is our sign language interpreter. We begin this live broadcast with a live link from Eldoret. That is where President William Ruto earlier on addressed the nation in respect to the New Year's message, and he spoke on an array of issues, among them a clear roadmap on how to eradicate poverty, reduce unemployment, and also foster way forward as far as prosperity is concerned for the nation. Our very own Achola Simon was there. He was our eyes and ears on the ground. Achola Simon, how is the mood and feel like in Eldoret City?
Well, Good evening, and thank you very much indeed, Doreen Arange. We are coming to you live from Eldoret State Lodge. Of course, we've been keenly following the customary presidential India address, and of course, he did indeed touch on a number of issues, but key amongst them, the president saying, of course, the country has started reaping dividends of the great efforts they had actually put in place from last year and the previous years, in terms of just ensuring they lay ground to fulfill the promises that he's actually promised to Kenyans, and more specifically to the hustlers. The president, of course, touching on SHA, touching on affordable housing, but also just telling us what the country has achieved in terms of reaping the dividends they've actually been promising Kenyans, and of course citing real examples of that woman who actually received a house, decent house in Mukuru kwa Njenga, but also that lady in Kisumu whose medical bill was paid by SHA. But moving forward, of course, the president touching on a number of issues, touching on the agriculture sector, and of course saying that they are moving forward and are putting in place measures to ensure that about 2.5 million acres will be under irrigation. Now that is something, but also here he says about infrastructure fund and sovereign wealth fund. Those are some of the areas that he says that his government is actually betting on big in terms of ensuring that this country can actually move forward and achieve what it needs to achieve. But critically, the president said that there's a war, a personal war, that he's actually going to wage this coming year, and he's calling on each and every leader, and of course each and every person in the government and in leadership position to come out strongly and help this country fight alcohol, drug and substance abuse. He says close to 2.5 million Kenya shillings, 12.5 million Kenyans actually hooked on alcoholism. But he also says that at least 1 in every 3 persons are actually hooked on alcohol, but also says that about 1.5 million Kenyans wake up in the morning and they cannot be engaged in gainful activities because of alcohol. Of course, these are some of the issues that he's actually talked about, and says that, of course, moving into the next year, he wants leaders to put their best foot forward and ensure that indeed their effort in terms of leadership, accountability must come to the fore. He says that leadership will not be measured on the threshold of youth or experience in given sectors, but he says that leadership will be measured based on deliverables, and he says that 2026 is a year that he's going to ensure that indeed his government delivers, and officers in each and every office goes ahead and ensure that they deliver to Kenyans, and he wants Kenyans to hold the leadership to account on each and every promise they actually make. Of course, these are some of the areas that he actually touched on. So then I don't belabor much, Doreen. I want to allow the viewers, of course, and of the listeners, just to listen in on what the president spoke earlier on.
In a thriving democracy, debate and dissent are legitimate and necessary. But our Constitution does not license violence, destruction, or criminality. Differences must never degenerate into disorder that threatens the peace we all cherish. Those entrusted with leadership carry a heightened duty to unite rather than to divide, to build rather than to burn. Kenya is bigger than any individual, any office, or any ambition. We are committing ourselves to a measurable national mission. Number 1, to cut the number of Kenyans living below the poverty line by half, lifting millions into dignity and opportunity. To cut unemployment by half, ensuring that millions of our citizens are productive, they are earning, and they are contributing to their country. And we will do this without crushing taxpayers, or without saddling our children with unsustainable debt. That is why in January 2026, we will fully establish and operationalize the National Infrastructure Fund and the Sovereign Wealth Fund, key instruments designed to underpin Kenya's transformation. Kenya cannot grow, Kenya cannot compete or remain secure when millions are trapped in addiction. This crisis demands decisive national action. Accordingly, going into the new year, the government will confront alcohol and drug abuse as a national development and security emergency. Backed by political will, expanded enforcement capacity, and coordinated action across government. We will establish a strengthened anti-narcotics unit within the Directorate of Criminal Investigations with operational capacity comparable to the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit. Fully resourced with modern surveillance, intelligence, forensics, financial investigation capabilities, the unit will operate as a permanent multi-agency formation, working closely with the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, the National Intelligence Service, border management agencies, county governments, and international partners. I urge the judiciary to consider establishing specialized courts to fast-track cases, and I will be consulting with the Chief Justice on how the executive can support this effort, including resourcing while fully respecting judicial independence. To safeguard integrity within the security agencies, any government official, including security officers, found culpable of facilitating, protecting, or colluding with drug traffickers or illicit alcohol networks will be prosecuted and dismissed forthwith from service. Fellow citizens, this struggle is deeply personal to me as president and as a parent. No law can replace parental guidance, community values, or early intervention in the lives of our children. As parents, we must choose to be present in the lives of our children. We cannot afford to delegate our children to others.
Well, of course, President there, a rerun of what the President had actually just talked about earlier on. Of course, talking about alcoholism, affordable housing, and of course also health. As we speak right now, behind me, if you can actually hear the voices, those are leaders already reacting to what the President said. And some of the things that we've just listened in terms of what they're actually discussing is how they can actually domesticate the alcohol and drug and substance abuse act, so that then it can actually be cascaded to the county level, and of course so that then counties can actually take up the mantle in terms of what the President has actually asked the government or his government, and of course leaders across board in terms of fighting alcoholism, drug and substance abuse. Of course, this is a subject we'll be following keenly in terms of just ensuring how it goes, in terms of ensuring that indeed it is followed to the latter. From here, the president is expected to go to Eldoret Sports Ground or Eldoret Sports Club, where of course he'll be joining other invited guests and of course musicians, in terms of in preparation of actually ushering in the new year. That is where of course we'll get the customary midnight celebration in terms of ushering in the new year. Of course, you can trust us to be there to show you each and every event as they unfold at the Eldoret Sports Ground. I don't have more from this region than just taking it back to Doreen Arange, so that then she can actually give us the rest of the bulletin. Back to you, Doreen Arange.
That's right, and we trust you to be there by that midnight as you bring us the celebration as they unfold. That is our very own Achola Simon from Eldoret State Lodge. Back to studios to those New Year's messages and those parts that already crossed over, and as Kenyans continue to count down to the final hours to the new year 2026, parts of the world have already welcomed the new year. The early celebrations began in the Pacific Islands, led by Kiritimati in Kiribati and Samoa, before spreading across the wider Asia-Pacific region. In New Zealand and Australia, major cities lit up the skies with spectacular fireworks displays and cultural celebrations. These early celebrations offer the world a glimpse of what lies ahead as the global countdown continues, with countries across Asia, Europe, Africa, and America set to follow in the coming hours. While many parts of the world are still counting down to 2026, those living across the Asia-Pacific region have already ushered in the new year. The early celebrations began in the Pacific, where the clock strikes midnight long before the rest of the world. The very first place to welcome 2026 was Kiritimati, part of Kiribati, where the new year was ushered at sunrise, celebrations marking the earliest moment on the global calendar. Moments later, neighboring Pacific nations, including Samoa, ushered in the new year as communities gathered for prayers, music, and cultural festivities to mark a fresh beginning. New Zealand was also among the first country to cross into 2026. In Auckland, thousands gathered in open spaces and city streets, eyes fixed on the Sky Tower as fireworks burst into the night sky, signaling the new year. Across the Tasman Sea in Sydney, Australia staged one of the world's most watched celebrations. Fireworks lit up Sydney Harbour, exploding above the harbour bridge as crowds lined the waterfront, cheering and capturing the moment on their phones. From families and friends embracing at the stroke of midnight to revelers welcoming a fresh start, the early celebrations reflected joy, relief and renewed hope as another year begins. Countries in East Asia, including Japan, South Korea and China, follow. Then Southeast Asia, such as Indonesia and Thailand, South Asia, led by India, and eventually Europe, Africa and the Americans eagerly wait for the clock to strike midnight. In Kenya, Kenyans wait their turn to usher in the new year, letting go of storms and shadows of the year 2025 as they face the new year with renewed hope for better. That story takes us on our first break. Plenty more on the other side of this breather. Stay with us.
It's heart of stone. Rest assured, Hannah. My aunt is a tough cookie. Even if he has a heart of diamond, we'd cut it into a gem and make it into a gift for the children.
She's easygoing on the grave matters, but somehow likes to be difficult on small matters like these.
Tian and I, one is a doctor, one is a policeman. There's a lot of problems we can run up against at work.
And a lot of times we really cannot take care of both work and our private lives.
Welcome back. Now, the coastal city of Mombasa is buzzing with excitement as locals and visitors alike prepare to welcome the new year 2026 in style. Zamir Nur Ali, master projection artist at Jay's Pyrotechnics, the only licensed fireworks dealer in the country, says a series of events have been lined up, including a dazzling 170 fireworks display expected to light up the skies not only in Mombasa but also across major towns of the coastal region. The iconic Mama Ngina waterfront in Mombasa will host the flagship event dubbed the Mombasa County Governor's Crossover Fireworks.
As the clock ticks towards the year 2026, the coastal city of Mombasa is already witnessing a beehive of activities, with crowds thronging fireworks outlets across to purchase firecrackers for the much-awaited celebrations. From small sparklers to large-scale displays, demand has surged as revelers seek to light up the night sky.
I'm so excited to be here. Come through, there are a lot of fireworks, there are a lot of different varieties to pick from, and let me tell you guys, there's no better way to end the year without fireworks.
Leo tunakuja kununua fireworks hapa tukijiandaa kwa mwaka mpya. Shughuli leo tunayo Mombasa.
Across the coastal major towns of Mombasa, Diani, Malindi and Lamu, a series of events including an impressive 170 fireworks shows have been lined up, promising unforgettable visual spectacles. The flagship event, dubbed the Mombasa County Governor's Crossover Fireworks, will take place at the iconic Mama Ngina waterfront in Mombasa. Zamer Norali, master projection artist at Jay's Pyrotechnics, says the demand for fireworks has been overwhelming this festive season across all major coastal towns.
We are open today, we are open for the whole country, and in the coast we are doing the whole entire coastline from Shimoni all the way till Lamu. The public has been very supportive, all right? And in return, we have also made prices affordable that even a Mama Mboga, all right, even a person from Ujenzi can come and buy for as low as 10 shillings.
As Sportcheck reveals that hotels and tourist facilities across the region have also lined up a variety of entertainment activities to delight their guests during the festive season, with Mombasa and other coastal counties recording a significant increase in both local and international visitors.
So we are experiencing high traffic right now, but we are fully prepared. I think we are coming today to tell you, we are fully prepared for our guests in terms of entertainment. We have done our own internal protocols for security. I think we'll be doing a fire alarm test, a mock fire alarm test today.
Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Right, and we're literally just less than 3 hours to the new year. More new year messages continue to come in, with the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, penning down a message of safety and security preparedness during this New Year's Eve, where he has assured that officers are deployed in towns, residential areas, places of worship, entertainment joints as well, and also just saying that in transport corridors as well as other public spaces to safeguard lives of citizens as well as their property. Further on, saying that much as yes, security remains a shared responsibility, he's urging Kenyans to ensure that they remain vigilant and take personal responsibility for their own safety as well as the safety of others, and also saying that those that are attending these public places, either places of worship or social gatherings, entertainment joints or even entertainment establishments, are encouraged to be mindful of their surroundings, to well cooperate with security personnel and report any suspicious activity through the established emergency lines of either 999, 911 and 112. He finishes by saying that indeed, as we celebrate this New Year, as we prepare for that, it is imperative and necessary to ensure that there is moderation, and also saying that excessive consumption of alcohol often leads to preventable accidents, violence, and loss of lives. Just basically saying that we need to be mindful of that, particularly reiterating that message of the president's with regards to alcohol consumption, saying that it is important to ensure that we do these celebrations responsibly, with respect for ourselves, respect for our families, as well as the entire community. That is the message from the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, his message of safety and security in this New Year's Eve. And now, away from that, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has called on former President Uhuru Kenyatta to step away from active politics and assume a unifying national role. He said the retired head of state should help guide leaders and safeguard national stability as the country looks ahead to the 2027 general elections. Ichung'wah, who is also the Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, made the remarks during an End-Year prayer meeting with religious leaders, where he cautioned against divisive politics and incitement, which he said has threatened peace during the year. Ben Chumba tells us more.
As the country draws the curtain on a politically charged year, the political class is wasting no time in setting the narrative ahead of the 2027 general election. In Kikuyu, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah turned the spotlight on former President Uhuru Kenyatta, urging him to step away from active politics and instead assume a unifying national role.
When we have a former president as a nation, it is a blessing. I said the day before yesterday, President Kenyatta is the only surviving former president of our republic. We pray that he rises to a stature of a nationalist and a statesman, a person of reference, a father figure for our nation.
Speaking during an end-year prayer meeting with religious leaders, Ichung'wah framed the call as a safeguard for national stability, arguing that Kenya needs moral leadership to counter what he described as a year dominated by political lies, incitement and dangerous divisions.
If President Kenyatta gets into the day-to-day politics of today, those of us who are in the politics of today, we will tell him things that should not be told to a man of his stature. When you are a retired president, if today this nation had a problem, the father figure we should go to is President Kenyatta.
In Siaya County, Game Member of Parliament Elisha Odhiambo declared that Orange Democratic Movement ODM will firmly remain in government, dismissing calls for ODM to chart an independent political path ahead of 2027.
Our late party leader left ODM in the national government. And ODM was left under President William Samoei Ruto. There are few individuals in ODM who think the party belongs to them. But if you look at their history is fake.
Odhiambo insists the party is fully behind President William Ruto's administration and will support his bid for a second term, brushing off internal dissent and downplaying the strength of rival political formations.
What they should do is to form their own party. And I can tell you for free, if you look at Rigathi Gachagua, you look at Uhuru Kenyatta, you look at Kalonzo, those are the friends of the people I've mentioned. And they are lightweight for President William Samoei Ruto. I can tell them without an iota of doubt, President William Ruto is doing a second term.
Whatever. Finally, several senior leaders of the Devolution Empowerment Party, DEP, popularly known as MBAS, have defected to the Economic Pillars Alliance, citing leadership wrangles and lack of internal democracy.
Na siku hizi za hapa nyuma kidogo kumekuwa na mizozo mingi katika basi lile. Na mimi nikaamua kuondokea basi, na nataka kuhakikishieni nyinyi hata Kiraito Moronge ayuko kwa basi.
Na kwa sababu mmepiga darubini mkaona pahali ambapo nyumba iko na amani, usawa, na pahali ambapo tumepanga vizuri mambo ya maendeleo ni hapa. Nataka kuchukua nafasi hii ni wakaribishani nyote.
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Lake Kamnarok, once a defining landmark of Kenya's Rift Valley and a symbol of endurance for generations of students at St. Patrick's Boys High School in Iten, is facing an uncertain future. The lake has now dried up, halting a decades-old tradition and raising wider concerns about environmental degradation in our region. Our reporter Aaron Marie has the details.
For more than 3 decades, this journey was a rite of passage. Every year, students from St. Patrick Boys High School in Iten would walk more than 30 kilometers down the escarpment to Lake Kamnarok. A journey meant to instill discipline, courage, and resilience ahead of their KCC examinations.
It's like 30-something years since we last were here, but we are surprised that we did not find water. During that time, around this time, in the early 90s and 80s, there was water in Lake Kamnarok, but right now there is no water, only grass, and we are kind of shocked.
Unfortunately, there's not much lake right now. It's a lot of water. A lot of grass and swamp. It is drying off. There is significant tree loss and erosion and environmental degradation.
Today, the journey has literally stopped. Lake Kamnarok has dried up.
The lake is filling in with sediments. It's getting shallower and shallower. And the hyacinth weed, which grows in Lake Victoria, that hyacinth weed is now spreading over the surface of the lake.
What was once a vast water body in the Kerio Valley and home to one of Africa's largest crocodile populations after Lake Chad is now covered in silt.
The main cause of the disappearance of the water here is siltation. And it's caused by charcoal burning, caused by people cutting the trees up in the hills in Kabluk and the tributaries of the rivers. I cannot name all the rivers that feed Kerio River here, and the ones that formed the rivers that caused the Oxbow Lake here.
Environmental experts and residents blame human activity upstream, including deforestation and poor land use, for choking the Kamnarok River that once fed the lake.
So we have to, number one, intervene in the things that cause the siltation.
The loss has struck a deep emotional chord among former students of St. Patrick's Iten, many of whom returned recently to see what remains of the lake.
The environmental impact of human activity and inertia of policy changes to try to safeguard what existed is quite striking. So we hope that this will refocus our efforts, inform others that don't forget your past, and we need to keep the focus on the environment.
They are now calling on the county government of Elgeyo Marakwet and Baringo to act urgently to save the lake and restore the river.
We have to talk to the county governments of Baringo and county government of Elgeyo Marakwet so that they put in measures that will address, give priority and make sure that they address this issue.
Beyond tradition, conservation is the one that the disappearance of Lake Kamnarok reflects a broader environmental crisis facing fragile ecosystems across the country.
Communities, the government, and everyone should have supported the conservation of this lake, because this lake plays a major ecological balance in this area.
What remains now is a call for action to restore a lake that once tested endurance, shaped character, and stood as a symbol of nature's resilience. Reporting for KBC Channel 1, I'm Aaron Marie.
It's heart of stone. Rest assured, Hannah. My aunt is a tough cookie. Even if he has a heart of diamond, we'd cut it into a gem and make it into a gift for the children.
She's easygoing on the grave matters, but somehow likes to be difficult on small matters like these.
Tian and I, one is a doctor, one is a policeman. There's a lot of problems we can run up against at work.
And a lot of times we really cannot take care of both work and our private lives.
World record holder in Paralympics, an icon and a mentor.
I'm happy to I struggled so that many other people people with disability can be able to benefit. We are not yet there, lakini what I can say, we are somewhere. Things are changing. They cannot happen overnight, but I thank God things are happening. We are on the right direction.
Sylvia's world changed in a single moment when she finally came to know the diagnosis.
Embrace disability, mtupende, pende watoto wetu, juu cerebral palsy si contagious, haikushiki, haishikanishani. Differently.
Welcome back. Apologies for that glitch there. We run by you again that story where persons with disabilities in Kakamega County want the Ministry of Education to consider learners with special needs and ensure they are not disadvantaged in the ongoing placement of students in national secondary schools. Meanwhile, the Open Christian University has awarded honorary doctorate degrees to 5 distinguished professionals from KBC County in recognition of their exceptional achievements and outstanding service in their respective fields. This and more stories in our county news roundup.
The chairperson of Able Disabled Organization in Kakamega County, Joseph Kinuthia, has lamented what he terms the continued hardship facing learners with disabilities in the country. Speaking at his Lurambi offices during the distribution of free education forms to needy learners, Kinuthia said the learners should be given priority during the school selection and placement in national high schools.
Akili ya mlemavu haikimbii mbio sana kama ya huyu mtu wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo ijaribu kuconsider pia zile matokeo yao yenye metokea, iwahurumie, si kuwahurumia, iwasaidie waweze kujiendelesha mahali penye watafika. Kwa sababu disability not inability.
The Open Christian University has awarded honorary degree to 5 distinguished professionals from KBC County in recognition of their exceptional achievements and outstanding service in their respective fields. Among the recipients was a magistrate at the KBC Law Court, Dr. Bernard Omwansa.
Feel motivated, and this is what we call now self-actualization. The doctorate is the highest, I want to believe, as far as education is concerned, is the highest award that one can be given. And having been given the same, I thank God.
Doctorate is not just a name. It's going out and giving back to the community.
Over 256 students from Gongo village in Rangwe, Homa Bay County have benefited from a mentorship program focusing on education pathways, career development and youth empowerment. The program was organized by the Gongo Kabongo community-based organization at Luora Secondary School.
We are grateful to them for coming here today. I think this is the first project we are seeing here in Gongo community coming from them. So we are grateful for them being here with us, and I want them to continue coming here to mentor us.
The government has reaffirmed its close collaboration with community elders in Rachuonyo East Sub-County, Homa Bay County, to enhance service delivery, education and social welfare. Speaking during the coronation of Richard Muma as Basa South Elder at Kakelo Primary School, Rachuonyo East Deputy County Commissioner Charles Kihika noted that the partnership has strengthened community cohesion.
Sisi kama serikali tunafanya kazi kwa karibu sana na wazee ambao ni the Council of Elders kuhakikisha kwamba jamii ya hapa Rachuonyo East imeshikana na tumewaelekeza kwa njia ambayo inafaa. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru kwamba jamii yote ya Luo Council of Elders wako hapa siku ya leo kuweza kushuhudia mmoja wao akiapishwa siku ya leo, na kama serikali tutaendelea kushirikiana kwa pamoja kuhakikisha kwamba mizozo ya jamii ambayo iko hapa Rachuonyo East imesuluhishwa kwa njia ambayo inafaa.
Leaders from the administration department in Garsen constituency, Tana Delta sub-county in Tana River County have been urged to ensure that relief food reaches all needy residents without discrimination.
Tunataka kutoa mwito kwa administration ya Tana River. Musipelekwe na pua ya wanasiasa. Hii chakula ni ya watu wote.
And finally, the youth in Busia County have been urged to register as voters in preparation for the forthcoming 2027 polls. Speaking during a youth football tournament at Mabale Primary School in Matayos constituency, lawyer and sports enthusiast Joshua Wabwire called on youth to register as voters in large numbers so that they can take part in decision-making in the coming polls.
Sasa hapa naona vijana wengi ambao wamejaa hapa. Kuna wengine hawana vitambulisho. Kuna wengine hawajashika kura. Kuna wazee pia na wamama ambao labda kura yao ilipotea. Mimi ombi langu kwenu ni nyendeni mshike kura kwa sababu kura ndo silaha yetu, si ndio?
Joseph Ohungu for Prime Edition.
Time for some business news, and the Central Bank of Kenya has licensed 42 additional digital credit providers, bringing the total number of licensed DCPs in the country to 195. In a statement, CBK confirmed the licensing of the new credit providers following the licensing of another 27 DCPs in September and another 41 in June of 2025. Alan Aoko tells us more.
Digital credit providers, or DCPs, are financial institutions that offer loans and credit services digitally. They use platforms like mobile apps, websites, or even USSD on feature phones to offer loan products. Some of the products offered include education loans, development loans, short-term personal loans, asset financing, and business loans. As a demonstration of the increasing appetite for mobile loans, as of November 2025, CBK revealed that the licensed providers had granted over 6.6 million loans valued at 109.8 billion shillings. CBK revealed that it had received over 800 applications from similar providers since March 2022 and is working closely with the applicants in reviewing their subsequent applications. CBK started regulating DCPs in 2022 to ensure consumer protection and transparency, following public outcry over the conduct of DCPs. As a result, CBK now requires licensed DCPs to adhere to its regulations, including confidentiality, cost disclosure, fair debt collection, credit listing restrictions, and anti-money laundering. It also requires the lenders to prove their sources of funds to ensure they are not proceeds of crime. The regulator emphasized that licensed DCPs are expected to be fully compliant with consumer protection standards and conduct themselves ethically. CBK, however, revealed that other applicants were at different stages of review and urged them to submit the pending documentation to enable completion of the evaluation of the applications. Alan Aoko, Prime Edition.
And the government has been urged to take urgent steps to revive Kajiado County's struggling businesses as traders report heavy losses in 2025 due to high cost and low consumer spending. Small-scale traders say high electricity cost, low consumer spending and reduced foreign currency inflows forced some businesses to close while others operated on minimal profits. They are urging the government to lower the cost of doing business, improve infrastructure, and strengthen the fight against corruption to attract investors and cushion Kenyans in the years ahead.
Kenya tumekuwa tukipoteza biashara mingi sana ama wawekezaji ambaye kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza mwekezaji anataka ile environment ambaye lazima aweze kupata mapato kutoka investment zake. Kitu ningeomba serikali ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba kama bei ya umeme iteremshwe, watafute njia ya kuteremsha bei ya umeme. Pia wajaribu kupunguza ufisadi, kwa vile ufisadi pia inachukua nafasi kubwa sana kuzuia wawekezaji.
Huu mwaka biashara imekuwa mbaya sana. Juu watu wana nini? Wana financial. Watu wakosa financial na sisi hata sisi tunakuwa chini juu sasa hatuna nini? Hawakuji kutununulia juu wao wana pesa.
The South African rand was steady in thin year-end trade on Tuesday, holding this year's gains against a weaker dollar. By close of business, the rand traded at 16 against the dollar, a whisker away from Monday's closing level, while the greenback hovered around its lowest levels in 3 months. Details of this and other stories in today's Africa Business Wrap.
South Africa's risk-sensitive currency is on course for gains of about 12% against the dollar this year. That is the biggest jump since 2009, bolstered by the nation's improved fiscal performance and success in containing inflation, as well as soaring prices of precious metals such as gold and platinum, which are major exports. The US dollar has slumped 9% this year against a basket of currencies, putting it on the pace for its worst showing in 8 years on expectations of Federal Reserve cuts, shrinking interest rate differentials with other major currencies, and concerns about the US fiscal deficit and political uncertainty. On the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the top 40 index, new TAP, was last up 0.4%. South Africa's benchmark 2035 government bond was also stronger in early deals as the yield fell 4 basis points to 8.265%. Elsewhere, Africa experienced the highest global tourism growth rate in early 2025, with North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa showing notable increases. A ranking by Insider Monkey highlights 10 African nations poised to dominate the global tourism market, driven by natural beauty, cultural depth, wildlife, and improving infrastructure. The continent recorded the fastest growth in global tourism in the first half of 2025, with international arrivals increasing by 12% compared to the same period last year, according to the United Nations. North Africa led the surge with a 14% rise, while Sub-Saharan Africa posted 11% growth, making one of the continent's strongest performances since before the COVID-19 pandemic. Morocco reported a 19% increase in overseas visitors, driven by the appeal of cities like Marrakesh and Fez, while South Africa's Kruger National Park and Cape Town continue to attract safari goers and adventure travelers from around the world. Finally, Access International Limited is seeking $28.9 billion from Guinea at a World Bank tribunal after the West African country revoked its permit to operate a bauxite mine there this year. The United Arab Emirates-based company has said Guinea, which has the world's largest reserves of bauxite, has moved to tighten state control over the mining sector over the past year, revoking and reallocating some permits as it seeks higher revenue and more local processing. Such moves by the government have led to a number of arbitration challenges, including one filed in November by Nomad Bauxite Corporation and another this month by Nimba Investment LLC. Axis International owns 85% of Axis Mineral Resources SA, a Guinean company with rights to a bauxite mine in the Bofa region. The company's statement said that the permit was terminated in May, along with dozens of others. The main bauxite mine produced 18 million tons of bauxite in 2024, making it Guinea's second largest source of bauxite ore exports.
Gold and silver have seen a roller coaster end to a year in which their prices are on track to record their biggest annual gains since 1979. The price of gold soared by more than 60% this year to hit a record high of more than 588,000 shillings per 28 grams before slipping after Christmas to stand at about 563,000 shillings on New Year's Eve. Details of this and other stories in today's International Business Wrap.
At the same time, silver was trading at about 9,600 shillings an ounce after hitting an all-time high of 10,864 shillings on Monday. This year's gains were fueled by expectations of more interest rate cuts, gold purchases, and central banks and investors' buy-in of so-called safe haven assets due to concerns about global tensions and economic uncertainty. Also this year, central banks around the world added hundreds of tons of gold to their reserves, according to the World Gold Council Trade Association. The other main driver of the price rises of precious metals, experts say, are expectations that the US Federal Reserve will cut interest rates again in 2026. Meanwhile, Walt Disney Company will pay 1.2 billion shillings to resolve claims that it broke children's privacy laws by failing to label some YouTube videos as made for children, allowing for targeted advertising. Disney had agreed to a settlement with the US Federal Trade Commission, FTC, in September to resolve an inquiry into its collection of children's personal data. The FTC had argued that as a result of Disney's alleged failure to properly label children's videos, kids received targeted advertising and had their data collected without parental notice or consent. The entertainment giant also agreed to create a program to comply with children's data protection laws, the US Department of Justice said on Tuesday. The company had previously noted that the settlement is limited to the distribution of some of its content on YouTube and does not involve Disney-owned and operated digital platforms. Finally, China's economy ended the year on a slightly less gloomy note as factory activity expanded in December for the first time since March, beating expectations according to official data released Wednesday. The official Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index rose to 50.1 in December, above the 49.2 forecast by economists polled by Reuters and higher than 49.2 in November. A reading above 50 indicates expansion. The composite PMI, a broader measure that tracks activity across manufacturing and services, climbed to 50.7 from 49.7 in November, pointing to a broader improvement across the economy. China's non-manufacturing PMI, which covers services and construction, increased to 50.2 from 49.5 in November. Experts said that the new orders rose in December, signaling a significant expansion in both production and demand in manufacturing. Private sector data showed a similar trend. A separate PMI from independent research firm Rating Dog showed manufacturing activity rising to 50.1 from 49.9, beating expectations of 49.8.
A world record holder in Paralympics, an icon and a mentor.
I'm happy to, I struggled so that many other people people with disability can be able to benefit. We are not yet there, but what I can say, we are somewhere. Things are changing.
Layer Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Welcome back. We now look at the latest in the world of sports, where Tanzania made history by advancing to the round of 16 in the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in 45 years after holding Tunisia to a 1-1 draw in Rabat in Group C match. Nigeria took the pole position with the maximum points after a 3-1 defeat of Uganda as Tunisia finished runners-up. Meanwhile, Senegal finished top of Group D with a commanding 3-0 win over Benin as DR Congo joined them in the knockout stages after a 3-0 win over Botswana.
Finished top of Group D following a 3-0 win over Benin.
Strong header, goal! Senegal with Sek, the big centre-back, delivers. DR Congo 4, Botswana 0. Mane joined us back, Senegal! Goal for Diallo. As well, he's got a chance for his second of the tournament and does so comfortably. Senegal, 3 goals to the good.
Despite the defeat, Benin progressed to the round of 16 as one of the best third-placed teams. Democratic
Athletics Kenya has named a strong young squad of 35 athletes who are expected to successfully defend their World Cross Country Championship title at the 46th edition, scheduled on the 10th of January in Tallahassee, Florida. The world 10-kilometer record holder Agnes Ngetich will spearhead the challenge in the senior women's 10-kilometer race, taking over from double Olympic and world champion Beatrice Chebet, who led her compatriots to a glorious outing in the previous edition held in Belgrade, Serbia. Agnes will be supported by Maureen Chibor, Brenda Kenei, Rebecca Mwangi, Karen Chebet, and Joylene Jepkemoi. The 2023 World Silver medalist Daniel Mbenyo Simiyu will lead the men's team, which also features rising star Ismail Rokito, Edwin Bett, Robert Koech, Weldon Langat, Shadrach Koech, Dennis Kemboi, and Kevin Chesang. The world 500-meter under-20 champion Andrew Alamisi will spearhead Kenya's title defense in the men's under-20-kilometer race with, among others, Emmanuel Kipkorir, Franklin Kibet, and Edwin Elkanah. Kenya will also be represented in the under-20 women's 6-kilometer race by, among others, Cynthia Chepkirui, Miriam Kibet, Lorna Cherono, and Marcy Mageso. The team has been training at Kigari Teachers College for the last month before they relocate to the Windsor Hotel in Nairobi tomorrow. They will leave for Florida in 2 batches on the 5th and 6th of January. Kenya won the previous world-class country championship title in Belgrade, Serbia, with 6 gold medals, 2 silvers, and 3 bronze medals.
And do the same here again today as she hits the front, and here again today as she hits the front and moves away with 100 meters to run. The defense.
Kenyan top seed Angela Okutoi continued her run of brilliance in the ongoing International Tennis Federation W35 tour, where she beat Hungarian Luka Udvadi by 2 straight sets in the women's singles. The 21-year-old claimed a 6-4, 6-3 set win in the first round at the Parklands Sports Club.
Kenyan tennis star Angela Okutoi continued her impressive form on the international stage with a commanding straight set victory at the ongoing International Tennis Federation W35 tour, reinforcing her status as one of Africa's brightest tennis prospects. The 21-year-old Grand Slam winner defeated Hungarian opponent Luka Udvadi in 2 sets. The opening set was closely contested with both players holding serve early on. However, Okotoyi capitalized on key moments, breaking Odvadi's serve to edge ahead and close the set 6-4. He went ahead and sealed the win in the second set, winning 6-3.
I feel like this tournament is a good competition for me, and I believe for Africa and the world. And I'm just grateful that Tennis Kenya and ITF managed to arrange this tournament, because I'm really trying to look for points, and this is one way to get the points. So I'm really happy that I'm able to come back home, play on home surface.
What we are calling the national policy will be to ensure that this development pipeline continues. We've had it for a while, but now we want to ensure that we get many more players from around the country. We have been very specific to Nairobi and Mombasa, but now we are looking towards different counties producing players.
Meanwhile, Germany's Lorena Schadel emerged victorious after a hard-fought 3-set battle against Egypt's Sandra Samir, securing a 6-2, 4-6, 6-4 win in an entertaining encounter. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
CPB Cereals men's handball team and Nairobi Water women's handball team are through to the finals of the East and Central Africa Federation's Club Championship, set for tomorrow at the Old Kampala area in Uganda. NCPB will defend their title against Rwanda Police in the regional men's final after they thrashed Brothers of Burundi 37-16 in the first semi-final, as Rwanda Police beat UPDF 32-21. Nairobi Water, on the other hand, will face Prisons of Uganda in the women's finals after they overcome UPDF 35-23 in the semi-finals. And CPB Cereals women's handball team will fight for bronze against UPDF of Uganda after they lost their semi-final match against Prisons, who beat them 28-26. The remaining Kenyan club, Black Mamba, will face Uganda Police in the 5th and 6th men's placement match.
Beautiful goals from both ends.
And Julie Mutisia and FIDE Master Jadon Simiyu were awarded brand new cars as prizes following their victory in the just concluded Kenya National Chess Championship, which was held here in Nairobi. The two secured direct tickets to represent Kenya in the next year's World Chess Olympiad, which will be held in Uzbekistan.
14-year-old FIDE Master Jadon Simiyu was on top form during the 2025 Kenya National Chess Championship with a perfect score of 5 out of 5. He announced his arrival in his first victory in the open section with a sharp win over Lenny Mataiga. In round 2, he outplayed Kenya's renowned speed chess specialist Erungu Brian, while in round 3 he defeated his clubmate Kuka Kale in an irrefutable performance. Equity's Julie Mutisia won the ladies category as the two champions received brand new cars for their outstanding performance.
I feel great. I feel excited and honored to be the national chess champion of Kenya. And chess has really grown throughout the years. I don't think we have ever had any junior champion. And I do feel honored to be the first junior chess champion in Kenya.
The preparation actually didn't start like on some few days ago before the tournament. The preparation started like the whole year. We've been preparing for the tournament, and it's been tough. Pressure from the coach.
The national champions also secured direct tickets to represent Kenya in next year's Chess Olympiad. Kenya Chess Federation will name more players to the Chess Olympiad later.
We have national coach Victor Ngani, who will be taking up the team to prepare them for 9 months, and because that is the biggest stage in the world, and Kenya is looking forward to post a better performance, probably finish top 100.
Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
That's right, and now time for me to exit now. That's all the time we had for you tonight. And indeed, as we count down to the new years, with just hours, like right now, this is what, 2 hours to the new year. All we can say is just appreciate you and thank you so much, our viewers, for always choosing KBC Channel 1 as your channel of choice to inform you throughout this ending 2025. From all of us here, have a safe night, good night, and happy 2026. My name is Doreen Arange. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter.
For charity, dial *419 hash.
Nakuona.